lesson by answering any questions you may have. How about you, Miss Pig? You look like you've got a million questions to ask.
Yes, I do. How do we know if we have good or bad karma?
We can get some idea simply by looking at the general state of our life at any given moment, such as whether or not we're truly happy. But because all life is constantly changing for either the better, the worse, or somewhere in between, it's never really possible to be certain. However, as I already mentioned, there is a way to help us control it and even change it, which I'm very much looking forward to sharing with you in the next few days. Thank you, Miss Pig. Now, Mr. Bull Cow, I can see by the look on your face that you have a question or two also.
Yes, I do. How does all this fit in with what you mentioned yesterday about little babies? I mean, what chance have they had to make any bad deeds, or karma as you call it?
To answer that truthfully, Mr. Bull Cow, I firstly need to inform you that I believe we're all the same age but born at different intervals. In other words, that our lives don't start when we're born, nor end when we die.
Charlie's looking even more confused than before he asked the question.
I don't think I understand. How on earth have you reached that conclusion?
By observing things as they truly are, Mr. Bull Cow. Anybody can do it if they're willing to open their minds and take an honest look around. The truth is, most things that appear to start and end don't really start and end at all. They just move in and out of being present. Take the seasons or a day and a night, for instance. They never actually come to a halt and stop in themselves. The land simply revolves in and out of them over and over again. Therefore, when it's all said and done, there's only ever been one day, one night, one winter, one spring, one summer and one autumn. And since this is the way of nature, and we're all part of nature's way, it makes perfect sense to me that our lives follow the same path.
Struth almighty! I've never heard of such a thing. Are you sure about all this, matey?
Absolutely, Mrs. Eagle. As sure as I am that life itself has no beginning or end. Not only that, I also believe our bodies are small copies of the earth we stand upon, and our spirits small copies of the universal life force.
For goodness sakes.
Betty Goat's convinced Gang-Gang is only having a joke with everybody.
I'm being quite serious, Mrs. Goat. Quite serious indeed. And the reason I believe this is once again a result of my observations over the years. For example, we have layers of skin like the Earth's crust, feathers and hairs that grow like the grass and trees upon the Earth, veins and vessels beneath our skin that act like the rivers and streams that run beneath the Earth, flesh like soil and bone like rock. A great percentage of the Earth is water and liquid, just like our body. Beneath the Earth is a substance called lava, which is hot and red like our blood. Now and then the Earth splits open and spills out lava just like our body releases blood when our skin breaks or we grow lumps. Our body has limitations that prevent it from jumping forwards or backwards in time. The same limitations that determine how long it will function before it wears out, after which it returns to the Earth where it came from. From there, it becomes nourishment to support the food chain that is needed to sustain new life. Did any of you know that the Earth never grows any larger no matter how many things continuously live and die on it?
Struth almighty! No, I didn't know that at all, mate. That's bloody amazing, ain't it?
It is amazing, Mrs. Eagle. And so too is our spirit. For it's a copy of the great universal life force and therefore doesn't share the same limitations as our body. For example, even though we can't take our body back to when it was a baby, we are able to remember certain things and sometimes relive them as if they were happening now. As a matter of fact, we can imagine just about anything at all within our mind. We can even go to places and do things in our mind that our body would never be able to physically endure.
How absolutely fascinating. Whoever would have thought all that?
So what happens when we die then?
After each successive physical manifestation is completed and our body can no longer function for us, our spirit separates from it and returns to the universal life force from which it came. There, it will remain re-energizing itself until it's time to return and recreate a physical manifestation again. Life is like the Bella. It's always coming and going.
Bluey remembers reading somewhere how DNA determines one's physical characteristics. He's now wondering if there are other hidden codes in the energy underlying the DNA that relate to Gang-Gang's explanation of karma.
Now, to sum up what I've discussed with you about the 9 consciousnesses, because our karma content is recorded within our life force, it doesn't disintegrate with the body, but rather carries over from one existence to the next, determining what our future circumstances will be each time. This includes the place we're born, the family we're born into, the conditions we live under, the opportunities we receive or don't receive, and so on. The bottom line is, no matter what or who we are, everything we think, say and do is continuously shaping and reshaping our future destiny. In other words, for better or for worse, we are in complete control of it ourselves. This is also why we must be cautious when hearing information from others, especially when it's about someone else. If we believe it and it turns out to be untrue, we would be as guilty of making the bad cause as the one who lied to us.
I see.
Doesn't matter how much good we've done, one bad deed can destroy it all in an instant like a fire.